Hello everyone, it's Simon from Gateshead Unison here, and today I'd like to outline the work of a really exceptional Unison member, and that is Lilian Johnson. I actually was lucky enough to get a chance to talk to Lilian last week about a very, very special milestone in her career. All right, so I'm here with Lilian Johnson, who is celebrating her 50 years of service with Gateshead Council on Monday, 3rd of August. It's also your birthday today, am I right in thinking that?
That's correct.
Very good. First of all, congratulations for both of those things, Lilian.
Oh, thank you.
It's our understanding that you've worked in a few different departments across the council over the years. Would you like to talk us through your career?
Yes, well, I left school. I didn't know what I wanted to do. So my mum said, why don't you apply to the library? So I did, and I got the job. And I didn't like it at first because it was very Dickensian. You know, you weren't allowed to speak. You couldn't speak to the customers or anything. It was terrible. And you got all these silly jobs to do. And I thought, I'm not sticking it. I'm not going back. But I did persevere. And as times changed, the library changed, obviously, because they became more aware of what people wanted. And the uniform changed because I started with an overall and I'm now wearing an overall again. But before that, you just thought, well, you could wear what you wanted. I mean, there was a big debate some years ago because men had to wear ties in the library. And somebody walked out and I think Unison was involved with the tie situation. And also we couldn't wear trousers when we were at work. The only time you could wear trousers was if you were on the van delivery service, you know, taking the books to the old people. And obviously, you know, in those days you wore mini skirts, so it wasn't very good to wear a mini skirt when you're going up the stairs. So we're allowed to wear trousers to go on the van service. So you had to take your trousers, then you had to change to go out. And when you came back again, you must take the trousers off. But that all changed with, you know, rules from unions and whatnot fighting over things, so they could start and wear trousers. And there was a big debate about sort of like overalls because they wanted us to wear them, but that got squashed by unions yet again. So and then it just sort of mellowed a bit, and I started off at the Central Library. And then I think I was a bit, you know, cheeky to one of the people, and I got sent to the branch library.
Oh, right.
And I loved this. Got sent to the sticks, yes, and I loved the freedom of being in a branch library. And then we stayed out late delivering books one day, so I got a letter to say how well I'd done. So I was brought back into the Central Library, and I stayed there for years. And I also did all sorts of activities like with, you know, children, rhyme times, and my claim to fame with the libraries was when Sherry Blair came and the other one, and we were doing a rhyme time and everything. So it was all hush hush because we didn't know who was coming. But I really enjoyed the highlight of the library service was interacting with the people, and sort of like children's things. And I mean, when I got to branch libraries, I organised coffee mornings, you know, craft fairs, all that sort of thing. And also started with sort of like courses. We did loads of courses, which led to education. So I got my degree working part-time. But it started off while I was working for the cleaning before I finished the libraries. And that money, because I got paid fortnightly for the cleaning then. I mean, it's monthly now. That went towards my education because I started working. I cleaned, because I worked between Leam Lane Library and Pelo Library. So Dave, one of the supervisors, we had problems with not having a cleaner. So I suggested, could I do the cleaning, because I was either working at Leam Lane Library before I started, you know, proper library work. And I could like fit it in between, going between the two libraries. So he said yes. So that's when I sort of like started my cleaning duties. But at that time I was still working in the libraries and I was only doing one cleaning job. So I continued on with the library for years. And then it came to the fact, you know, where the, you know, funds weren't very good for the library service and they wanted people to retire. And by that time I'd worked 40 odd years. So I took my VR, my voluntary redundancy from the library service. And I thought, oh, what am I going to do now? Because I only had the one cleaning job. In fact, I had to write into the council to say could I continue with my cleaning job, although I had retired from the library service, and they gave us permission to do that. And then I got sort of like, it started off with the cleaning. I got my voluntary redundancy, and I just got more jobs cleaning. And then I thought, well, what am I going to do, at weekends? Because I used to work at weekends as well. So I was asked if I'd go to the Baltic by Claire, one of the supervisors. And I started working at the Baltic at weekends, which I love. I love the Baltic. And made lots of friends and everything. And sort of like, we get everybody coming from different countries, or did before lockdown. And it was just really interesting. And but the highlight of my library, another highlight was, I used to do extra things. We used to do sculpture day. And sculpture day, well, going out to schools and everything I liked. But sculpture day, I was probably in my 40s, I would think. And I had to be Goldilocks sitting under a tree reading stories to kids, so I had this horrendous, I didn't look anything like Goldilocks. I had this horrendous blonde wig on and like Goldilocks like costume, and I had to change in the van. And that was one of my highlights, but mainly like seeing children and doing rhyme times and that from the library service. But from cleaning point of view, because I thought, oh, I'm going to be bored. But you're never bored in the cleaning services at all, because always finding your job to do.
Yeah.
So I feel really satisfied that I did change over to cleaning as well, not just retired. So it fills my day in.
Later on, I also got a chance to talk to Michael Lamb, who is Lilian's new manager as a cleaner. Got to talk to him about some very positive memories with Lilian, and also what people like Lilian's work is going to be like in the coming months. Do you have a particular memory in Lilian's career as a cleaner that you are very proud of?
I think that was last year. I think I've only been managing as a service manager, building clean for a couple of years now. But I think last year when Lilian was identified as one of the longest serving members of staff for the council, and I was on behalf of the council, I was able to invite Lilian to go and to represent us at the Queen's Garden party. So that was nice for us to invite Lilian in. Although when we did invite her in, to say you would like you to go, she thought she was getting told off. She's not normally invited in to see any management, but so yes, that was good. But I think it's a privilege for me to see that Lilian's worked for the council for this many years, so it's really nice to mark this, and celebrate it, especially in times like this where there's not a lot of good news about. So yeah, really good.
Speaking of times like this, how are jobs like Lilian's changing in the current year?
Fundamentally, cleaning's so key to everything during COVID. So all our cleaners have been fantastic, and they've worked throughout this pandemic. They've been in throughout. So their jobs changed in terms of what they're cleaning and how they're doing their jobs. So yeah, really important, and we couldn't operate without them.
Well, it's just we've got to be so just clean really for this virus. Social distancing, that as well. And I mean, our cleaning services can't be compared with anybody else, because we have cleaned so much in the hope that we keep it at bay. And also at the Baltic, I mean, we want everybody to come back. Now they're now issuing sort of tickets. You can write in and get a ticket. So we've got to monitor people coming in and going out, and there's a one-way system, so you can go up one way and come down the other way, which I haven't mastered yet, but I will, I'm sure. And it's just to keep everybody safe, really. But I mean, it's an ongoing thing, so new rules and regulations will be implemented as we progress through the situation.
It's like the beginning of your career, things are always changing. So
well, that's right, it's just a different change, which we don't really want.
Yeah, that's true. Back from Lilian's career in the library service as well, we had a couple of people get in touch with their own congratulations messages. So first of all, we had Principal Library Manager Stephen Walters, who said, Lilian was a highly valued member of the library service for many years. She was dedicated, passionate about her work. Lilian was a real inspiration when she studied for her degree as a mature student, and she was, and I hope she would not mind me saying this, our real-life Shirley Valentine. Congratulations to Lilian on this amazing milestone, so thank you for that, Stephen. We also had colleague and area library manager Denise Envy, who said, "It might be said that librarians are better known for their abilities with words rather than numbers. This is certainly true of Lilian, who usually needed help with any cash or data that needed adding up. Lilian was also one of the few librarians who rarely read a book either. Instead, she used her powers of persuasion to encourage other customers to leave with an armful of books. She did read lots when she was studying for her degree in sociology, and achieved this as a part-time mature student while still working full-time. She worked really hard and assignments were always in on time. She always excitedly rang her tutor the very next day to see what results she'd received. One day she popped out of the library to collect the newspaper, tripped over and returned 2 minutes later with an enormous black eye. Lilian loved being made a fuss of, and she received many well wishes, but in turn she made a fuss of the library customers, and they loved her as well. She liked nothing better than being involved in events and activities and being surrounded by a class full of visiting school children. Lilian's philosophy was, well, it'll be fine, and generally, it always was. She was a pleasure to work with, and she was a pleasure to interview as well. So before I let Lilian have the final word on the matter, I would just like to say from all of us at Gateshead Unison and from all of your colleagues, thank you for your continued service and hard work. Back to you, Lilian.
I would just like to say about the council, I've always found, no matter what your problems are, there's always somebody there that'll help you. You know, everybody has personal problems, and I think the council are very fair. If you go to them and say, you know, I can't do this, and say why, and I think they will accommodate, especially with sickness, because I broke my wrist, and I thought, I'll never get back to work, and I hate being off work. But, you know, bit by bit, I did get back, but obviously not till I was well enough. Right, yeah, and I think the council are very courteous and everything about things like that, or if you have problems at work or anything, I think they're always there to listen. But I think a lot of, you know, we can't sort of like, we've got to do our job to keep everybody safe and everything. And the whole fact of going to work is to sort of like get money, obviously, but secondly to give a good service, which I think Gateshead Council does, both in the library service and arts and the cleaning section.